Let's do our junior section of the show then. Best part of the show by a country mile. And let's welcome Titherington Junior's very own Matt O'Brien. Matt, how are you, mate?
I'm very well, thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Even better that Man United are losing, but we won't go into that with you being a United fan.
Thankfully, I've got it on the... well, I shouldn't say this really, should I? But I've got it on the telly, but at least the fire's on, so I'm warm. My brother in my seats will be freezing.
Yeah, your brother's obviously upset you, that's why you've sent him this afternoon, but, I'd say you're warm.
This is punishment.
No, obviously, talking of being in the warmth, you weren't in the warmth this morning, you've been out and about, as always, with the Titherington Juniors. How's this morning gone?
Yeah, we've been blessed and we've had loads of games on. For once, the grass pitches were sort of, waterlogged because of the sustained water, but we've had loads of teams who've been playing on 3G and development leagues. We've had some amazing results. We've had our under-12s, 1987, have made it into the Manchester Youth Super League Cup final next Saturday. They won 5-1 this morning against a brilliant SKFC team, so that's a particular proud one, because my daughter played for them this morning, which was good. And our under-9s Wildcats, they continued their amazing form. They won 8-3. Our under-10s Rovers played against a really strong team from Poynton Way, and they won 6-2, which they're actually playing a year up as well. They're really testing themselves. So that's a particular sort of proud one for them, because they're playing against kids who are probably a lot bigger and have been used to the offside and stuff. And our under-10s Titans won 9-1, so yeah, good results across the board, I think, so far.
Sounds like a great morning, and I know, let's get on to the bit that I think is slowly, I think if you're honest, probably becoming your favourite part, is the 3v3 that takes place on a Friday. It's going from strength to strength by all the sounds of it, mate.
It's absolutely brilliant, and it's a particular proud one because it's something that we tried 3 years ago at first, with Martin Greening at goal coaching, who brought it to Titherington, and it was amazing then. But to have the air pitches and stuff, and it's opened up to all the kids in Macclesfield. It's not just Tivy players, anybody can turn up, pay and play. And the development in some of the kids, from speaking to the coaches and from what I've seen myself in my own group, I cannot recommend it enough to people. It's the future of Littlands football. If you look at the stats, it's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And it's so much fun for them. They've got no idea how much they're actually learning and developing, because they're just having so much fun. I mean, the shafted at the end of it, obviously, which again is quite nice on a Friday because they go to bed, but,
So that's why you're doing it then, is to get the kids in bed early.
My secret, I hope my kids aren't listening to that, because that's not really why, but...
I've got to ask you though, because obviously with this 3v3, look, it's phenomenal, because the downside, if there is, I don't think there is any downsides with football, but sometimes there can be a downside where you're in a position where you play in a team, whether it's 7v7, 9v9, 11v11, you might not get many touches of the ball, but you get loads of touches of the ball, and it's so important for player development. I wanted to ask you though, how would adults fare at 3v3?
We actually had a 3v3 tournament at our presentation night back in June, and each team from within the club had to put forward a team of 4 adults. And I'll say that thankfully my defib was very close. It wasn't needed, but there was some who were taking it, for what it was, which was a bit of fun, and for others it was like they'd rolled the clock back for 20 years, and it was highly competitive, shall we say. And it was absolutely brilliant. They loved it. But because obviously the rules are, if you score a goal, you've got to run back, touch your net, and then balls back into play immediately. You basically don't get a chance to sort of have a breather. They were shattered. It was so funny. And we're doing the same thing again in June, so the adults will all be enjoying it as well. We had 8 air pitches, all up at Matt Rugby Club, and it was so much fun. More so for me, because I could watch and laugh. Obviously, I might feel differently if I was playing.
I was going to say, I was kind of reading between the lines, thinking that when you're on about those that enjoyed it for the fun, those that went a bit competitive, I kind of know which side of the fence you were probably sat on.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. 1,000,000%. But, my knee dictates that I'm not allowed to play, but I would have been all over it.
Now, obviously, every time we speak, there's something exciting happening, there's something fresh, there's something new. But something that you've been talking to me about for some time is the desire to get a clubhouse up at Rugby Drive. And if I'm right in saying so, mate, a little birdie tells me that the wheels are in motion.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that's been a particular sort of peeve of mine for quite a while, that we don't have any facilities on Rugby Drive, or actually in Titherington as a whole, be it a clubhouse or like a community centre. We have a go at kids not doing anything and causing havoc, but there's nothing really for them to do. So it's been a passion project for a bit now. We've sorted the pitch, and this week we've really taken the bull by the horns. We've contacted the FA, the Football Foundation, Mactown Council, Cheshire East Council. We've got an amazing volunteer called Ben Robinson, who's sort of taking the lead on it and using his contacts and know-how to really drive forward the next stages in doing some planning bits, doing some feasibility work. So fingers crossed, I hasten to add, we may well end up with some pretty good facilities on there for not just Titherington juniors, but Titherington as a whole, which, it's what that pitch deserves, and that facility, and obviously our community as well, so absolutely. Dead proud of that one.
Yeah, it's a moment you should be extremely proud of, and I think, obviously, as much help as you can get to get this actually completed and done is needed, and part of that project is tomorrow. So it's the charity match tomorrow versus the Mark Rees Resilience Project, taking place at MAC. It's £2 on the gate. The money goes towards the clubhouse. What's going to be happening?
So, I'm assuming it's going to be very similar to the 3v3 exercise that we tried in June, where we've got quite a lot of enthusiastic volunteers, parents, coaches, managers, uncles, brothers. So I think we've got a squad of about 24. They're all itching to play at the moment. Quite what it'll be like after a few minutes. The idea is everyone's going to try and get half a game each. We're playing against a team of, there's some ex-pros on there's some celebrities, there's apparently TikTokers and Instagram people, so my 13-year-old daughter tells me. I'm thankfully too old for any of that. It's mainly, it's a bit of fun. But it's a fantastic opportunity to raise some money. We've been absolutely blessed that Mark has sort of taken the bull by the horns and arranged, his team and his players and contacts to all come down and play. They've also amazingly donated money as well to the cause, which is just amazing. Mac FC have been fantastic. They've given us a ridiculously subsidised rate for hiring the pitch for a couple of hours. So that's Amanda was just so kind in helping us do that. We wouldn't have been able to do it otherwise. We wouldn't have been able to afford it. Macron have donated shirts for them to wear, and we've got loads of kids who are going to be there as ball boys, ball girls. They're all going to have a little penalty shootout at half time. It's just going to be really good fun.
And obviously,
for us watching.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like it's more fun from the sideline, but just to finish off with you, mate, because the one thing that happens every week is the club continues to grow. The 4s, the 5s, the 6s are at record levels. You've got over 560 kids registered, and you've still got spaces in the 7s, year 2, and under 10s, year 5. But you've also got some exciting news coming out that all I know is this potentially could change the landscape of grassroots football in Macclesfield, and we don't even know what it is.
It's something which has been beyond the dream for most of us really around here. And we're at pretty decent sort of talks and levels, and hopefully next week we'll have some pretty exciting news to sort of let everybody know about. I don't want to shout from the rooftops yet, even though it's taking everything in me to be quiet, which is not like me. I'm not great at keeping stuff like this in, so yeah, fingers crossed this time next week we'll have something pretty cool to report on, which I think will have a major impact in Macclesfield for everybody.
Fantastic. Matt, always a pleasure, mate, to have you on the show. Thanks very much for your time again. Titherington Juniors go from strength to strength, and they leave us on tenterhooks. What is the big news? Well, two choices. Join Silk Sport next week to find out, or don't.